Welcome to the brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Grand Prix here on the HomeBoiz channel. Today to start things off we have Dark Signer Roman Goodwin versus the WRPG's own Ghost Rider Hunter Pace. As usual, we'll be taking a look into each character's decks before we dive into the action. First, Roman Goodwin. Brother of the former director himself, Roman plays the Earthbound Immortal Uru, with the ability to sacrifice an ally in order to snatch an enemy's monster. Being an Earthbound also means that while it requires a field spell to stay alive and to keep its effects, it makes up for that by being unaffected by the opponent's spell and trap cards, as well as being able to attack directly. It's supported by a semi-stun deck of spiders that aim to move the opponent into defense mode to keep them from attacking you. If Roman can keep everyone in defense, his trap card Altar of the Bound Deity can summon his Earthbound Immortal straight from the deck. In his side deck, he has his recently printed manga exclusive deck, the Underworld Monsters. They're a zombie archetype that can not only synchro, but use Ghost Fusion to fuse off the field. While this seems weaker than a polymerization, if Roman is lacking the life points, he can use his hand, deck, or graveyard as well. Lest we not forget the Spectral Ice Flow's continuous spell card that can activate multiple times during both players' turns, protecting all cards on his field from any card effect. He might have a deceptively powerful stall deck on his hands, but what about his opponents? Here we have Hunter Pace with the Skull deck, a zombie deck that revolves around Burning Skullhead and two high-level Skull Flame monsters. The goal is to use Skull Flame or Supersonic Skull Flame to accumulate damage. While Skull Flame is a level 8 monster, he's running Gozuki, Pyramid Turtle, and Call of the Mummy to help cheat it out, along with the Plague Spreader-based Synchro Engine to add a little more offense. Hunter's side deck focuses on the Doom Kaiser Assault Mode monster, backed up by some more generic zombie cards for his overall strategy. But will it be enough to burn past an Earthbound Immortal? We're about to find out. Ready, set, duel! With the first matchup between these two duelists, we have Hunter Pace going first. Hunter's gonna start off by setting a card and activating the ever-living Underworld Cannon continuous spell. Now, every time a zombie is special summoned, Hunter is gonna be able to deal 800 points of damage directly. Next, he's going to be summoning out the Gozuki monster. During Hunter's turn, he can throw away a zombie straight out of his deck, and he's simply going to pass his turn after that. Looking to see what Roman's about to do, he's going to activate his field spell Spiderweb, one of the pieces that he needs in order to bring out his Earthbound Immortal monster. With the Spiderweb field spell, whenever a monster attacks, it's changed to defense mode after the battle, and it can't switch its battle position until the next player's end phase. Then Roman's going to be setting a card face down, as well as a monster for defense. Hunter's going to be using his Gozuki once again to put the deadly Plague Spreader zombie into the graveyard. Now he'll be normal summoning the Pain Painter, a level 2 tuner monster who can change its name to the Plague Spreader zombie. This will allow him to synchro the level 6 revived King Hades, who can negate the effects of monsters that it battles with, or that any zombie battles with for that matter. That also will trigger the ever-living Underworld Cannon to do 800 points of damage to Roman. But now, by putting a card from Hunter's hand back into the top of the deck, he can summon back the Plague Spreader zombie. We're gonna see the revived King Hades destroy a monster before the Spiderweb switches it into defense mode once again. But before the end of the turn, Roman activates the Altar of the Bound Deity. Now with two monsters in defense mode, the altar is going to have two counters ignited onto it. And when it has 4, Roman can summon an Earthbound Immortal straight out of his deck. Also, unfortunately for Hunter, Spiderweb will keep his monsters in defense position just a bit longer, so all he can do is set and pass. Now with another standby phase comes 2 more counters added onto the Altar of the Bound Deity. Roman's going to activate the continuous spell card, Destiny Activator. So when he activates this card, he's going to throw away the top card of his deck. When Hunter draws for the start of his turn, he reveals it to Roman. If it matches the type of card that Roman threw away, monster, spell,
or trap, Destiny Activator is destroyed and Hunter's life points get cut in half. In response, he'll also be chaining Altar of the Bound Deity to summon out his Earthbound Immortal monster, Uru. But that's not all, because he also has the continuous trap card Roar of the Earthbound Immortal, so that when an opponent attacks, he can destroy the monster and do damage equal to half of its attack points straight to Hunter's life points. Getting back to Destiny Activator, it looks like Roman is going to be dumping a spell card. So if Hunter draws a spell card, his life points will get cut in half. That's not all, because now Roman's going to be activating the Earthbound Whirlwind to destroy all of Hunter's spells and trap cards before setting a monster face down and declaring a direct attack with the Earthbound Immortal Uru, one of the many shared abilities all the Earthbounds have. However, even though they're unaffected by the opponent's spell and trap cards, they're still affected by the owners, so Spiderweb will switch Uru back into defense mode. Now, Roman also gets to see that Hunter Pace has just drawn his Pyramid Turtle. For this turn, he's going to be normal summoning the turtle and switching the Hades back into attack mode. While he cannot attack an Earthbound Immortal monster, if it's the only monster left on the field, Roman's life points will be vulnerable. He's going to bravely swing with the 1200 attack Pyramid Turtle, but the Roar of the Earthbound Immortal is going to trigger, destroying the turtle for 600 damage, leaving the revived King Hades to attack the relinquished spider that was face down before he gets swapped back into defense mode again. That's going to be the end of Roman's turn, as he has no monsters he can currently play, and another monster card was drawn by Hunter, so his life points are relatively safe for now. He'll be setting the turtle, switching the play spreader into attack mode, and passing it back to Roman. Roman's going to spend this turn setting a card, switching Uru back into attack mode to swing for another 3000 damage. Hunter has at most 2 turns left in this duel before Uru will defeat him. And Destiny Activator finally triggers because Hunter has finally drawn a spell card, so he drops from 1400 to 700 life points. He's going to activate the ever-living Underworld Cannon once more and flip summon the Pyramid Turtle, switch his monsters into attack mode, and pass turn. He has no ability to attack because of the trap card Roar. Either one of these monsters attacking would end Hunter. And while he could attack with the Plague Spreader, he wants to save it in case he can go into another Synchro monster that can get him out of a jam. So far, no good, but he will summon the Samurai Skull, who on normal summon will throw away a monster from the deck, specifically of the zombie variety. This time he'll be picking the Burning Skull Head and attempting to attack with the Plague Spreader, but the Roar of the Earthbound will not only destroy it, Roman will chain with Zero Gravity to switch all other monsters into defense mode. This is because Roar of the Earthbound can only be activated once per turn, and since he only has an Earthbound Immortal, Roman's life points would have been susceptible to taking over 4,000 points of damage. Not only that, but this switches Uru back into attack mode. So, during Roman's turn, all he has to do is attack directly for game. While that was an incredibly one-sided match, let's see if Hunter Pace can turn things around. He's going to be going softly with the T set and passing back to Roman, who opens up with the spider web yet again. And not only does he open up with the spider web, he has the level limit Area B. This will change all monsters that are level 4 or higher into defense mode permanently, as long as it's face up on the field. He's going to normal summon his ground spider, which gets swapped into defense mode, set a card, and pass it back to Hunter. Hunter's going to respond by summoning the Samurai Skull, and while it won't be able to do any offense, it does throw away a monster for him. By throwing away the Glow Up Bloom, he can remove it from the graveyard in order to add a level 5 or higher zombie monster from his deck to his hand. So he's going to be grabbing his Skull Flame. Then he's going to be switching the Pyramid Turtle into face-up position and activating Creature Swap, so that he can swap his Samurai Skull with the only monster on Roman's side of the field. We'll see what he's planning with that one. Passing it over back to Roman, he's going to be summoning a monster face down and ending his turn just like that. Now with 2 monsters he can tribute, Hunter can sacrifice the opponent's monster in order to summon the Skull Flame. The Skull Flame is going to use its ability to special summon a monster from hand, and that monster is the Burning Skull Head, who on special summon deals 1,000 points of damage to the enemy. In addition to this, instead of drawing for turn, Hunter in the future can go ahead and add a Burning Skull Head from the graveyard to hand. However, he won't get the opportunity to do that because he's going to get Lava Golemed or Mother Spidered in this sense. Mother Spider can sacrifice 2 monsters that are in defense position on the opponent's field in order to summon itself, only if all the monsters that Roman has in the graveyard are insect type, and he's going to pass turn yet again. We're going to be seeing a lot of that here today. We're going to see the Assault Beast also discard itself from the hand in order to search the trap card Assault Mode Activate to upgrade a specific Synchro monster. Then Hunter's going to banish his Dead Skull Flame to special summon the Super Sonic Skull Flame, who will use its effect to do 400 damage for every Burning Skull Head in the graveyard. Now Hunter's going to normal summon his level 2 Plague Spreader with 400 attack to swing over the Samurai Skull before getting switched back into defense mode. For Roman's turn, we're going to see him sacrifice the Mother Spider in order to tribute summon the Dark Tuner Spider Cocoon. Now, the Dark Tuners are a very fascinating monster because they can summon Dark Synchros by subtracting levels instead of adding it like with the typical Synchro. We're going to see the Dark Spider get flip summoned from face down position and use its effect to increase the level 5 Dark Tuner Spider Cocoon to a level 7, subtracting the level 1 from the level 7 in order to summon the level -6 Underground Arachnid Dark Synchro. The Underground Arachnid will activate her effect. Arachnid can absorb a monster on Hunter's field Relinquish style. For Hunter's turn, he's going to summon the Pyramid Turtle and use it for the Synchro Summon of the level 6 Doom Kaiser Dragon so that he can use Assault Mode Activate and go into Doom Kaiser Dragon Assault Mode. On the summon of the Doom Kaiser Dragon Assault Mode, he can revive as many zombies from the graveyard as he would like. So here's Samurai Skull, Plague Spreader, Burning Skull Head, and Doom Kaiser itself with their effects negated. Then he can use his level 6 Doom Kaiser with the level 2 Plague Spreader to bring out the Skeletal Dragon Felgrand. And on its Synchro Summon, it can banish a monster on the opponent's side of the field, getting rid of the Dark Tuner. But before the Burning Skull Head can attack for another 1,000 damage, Roman can activate the Spider Egg to negate his direct attack and summon 3 Spider tokens with 100 points each. At the end of the turn, all the zombies that were summoned by the Assault Mode Dragon die, and it goes back to Roman, who's going to set all of his monsters back into defense mode, play a card in his back row, and pass turn. And Hunter's going to be doing a similar move there. We're going to be seeing a lot of back and forth as both duelists try to gain some sort of advantage here, try to pile up cards in their hand, and come up with a strategy on how to advance the game state. In the middle of all that, we see Hunter activate an ever-living Underworld Cannon so that whenever he does manage to synchro or revive monsters from the grave, he'll be able to inflict burn damage that way, even if the monsters themselves aren't capable of doing anything. We're going to see him go ahead and bring back the Plague Spreader in order to do such damage, and to also swing over a Spider token. We see the Book of Eclipse get activated by Roman because he has the intention of letting Hunter draw more cards, because since his deck is shorter than Roman's, he's going to be decking out way quicker than Roman ever could. Magic Drain is going to be activating on Hunter's field in order to attempt to negate the Book of Eclipse, but unfortunately, Roman does have a spell in his hand. So he can go ahead and discard the Earthbound Immortal Revival in order to negate the Magic Drain, flip the monsters face down, flip them back face up at the end of the turn, and allow Hunter Pace to draw a card. Now, Roman's going to use his Terraforming in order to get a backup Spiderweb just to thin his deck just a little bit to see if he can get anything useful for him. Plague Spreader is going to enter battle in order to destroy a token once more before passing it back. Roman's going to summon another Ground Spider, so now Hunter is really limited in options. But first he's going to use Escape from the Dark Dimension in order to bring back the Glow Up Bloom, not for anything specific, but to activate the Underworld Cannon. Roman is now down to 5,000 life points as we see Burning Skull Head get normal summoned here, and the counter trap card Assault Counter is going to activate to negate the effect of the Ground Spider, not only allowing the Burning Skull Head to attack this turn, but removing Ground Spider from the field for good. He's attempted to swing into the final token, but Roman had the trap card No Entry, which switches all attack position monsters into defense mode. His defense is truly impregnable as this game reaches its 21st turn. We're going to see Plague Spreader get rid of the token, and Burning Skullhead fails to kill the monster that attacked the Hell Spider with 2,000 defense points. Going over to Roman's turn, we're going to see he draws into the Earthbound Immortal Uru. Now, while this is a mighty creature, there's not anything that the Earthbound Immortal is capable of doing because of the level limit Area B. However, Roman isn't prone to being attacked directly because he activates the Brilliant Shrine Art, which will allow him to redirect attacks into the 3,000 defense spider. So Hunter is now unable to touch Roman's life points outside of the ability of the Underworld Cannon. We do see him summon the Pain Painter, who can change the level of up to 2 zombies on the field down to level 2 until the end of the turn. However, thanks to Brilliant Shrine Art, he won't be able to use that in order to allow his monsters to attack Roman, but he is going to use it to conduct another Synchro and go into another Doom Kaiser Dragon so that he can chip in another 800 damage. The Foolish Burial here is going to go ahead and dump this monster, the Necro World Banshee, who will banish herself from the graveyard in order to activate the Zombie World straight out of the deck. We're going to see a card go back to the top of Hunter's deck to special summon the Plague Spreader Zombie. And while Skeletal Dragon Felgrand can negate the effects of Earthbound Immortal Uru, that does nothing for him, so he will have to pass yet again. Roman's going to go ahead and normal summon yet another Ground Spider before passing his turn 2. We'll see the Assault Beast get normal summon and used in tandem with the Plague Spreader to synchro summon the Revived King Hades to trigger the Underworld Cannon. Roman now sitting at 3,400 life points, doing nothing. Hunter summons the Gozuki, who will dump a Burning Skullhead, and the Pain Splitter will activate his effect in order to reduce the level of his 2 synchros to use both of them for the Archfiend Zombie Skull, who then triggers the Underworld Cannon yet again. 2,600 life points remaining, and Roman does something absolutely vile. He sacrifices the Ground Spider in order to steal Skeletal Dragon Felgrand with the Earthbound Immortal, and this effect is not a once per turn effect, so he can sacrifice his Synchro for another monster, and sacrifice that for another, and another, until all Hunter is left with is a 0 attack and defense glow-up bloom. And even though it is a tuner, Hunter's completely gone through his extra deck, so there is no more monsters that he can summon from there. Samurai Skull will hit the field, surprisingly dumping yet another card from his deck, which will banish itself in order to get Zombie World. He's thinning his deck even further in hopes to get a specific card, even though that's what Roman is hoping he would do. Roman will continue to sacrifice Hunter's monsters so that he will continue to not have any field advantage to work with. In the middle of all of that, Destiny Activator was activated, and I do believe that it sacrificed a monster from Roman's deck. So when Hunter does draw another monster, his life points will finally take a significant blow of 3,500 points. We're going to see Hunter set and pass. Roman will do the same, but before he can do anything, Hunter is going to use the Call of the Hunted trap card, wary of whatever Roman's trap card might be, so that he can revive the Skeletal Dragon Felgrand, and not only trigger the cannon, but on its special summon, remove from play the Earthbound Immortal. Now with the Earthbound and with the Brilliant Shine gone from the field, Roman's life points are wide open for any level 3 or lower monster to make its move. And we won't be seeing anything anytime soon, as the Graceful Charity gets negated by the Earthbound Wave trap card. So Hunter will have to pass yet again. Roman, though, has no low-level monsters that he can draw into, and Hunter has yet to draw a single monster card. So it looks like even though the deck total tells one story, the life point and field advantage tell a completely different one. We see him draw another Underworld Cannon, but since he only has the 1 spell trap space, as his 2 continuous trap cards are taking up room, he will not be activating it at this moment. Both players are bricking, praying that they can draw something usable before the opponent is capable of doing so. We finally see Hunter draw the Gozuki monster card, so Destiny Activator blows up and reduces Hunter's life to 3,500. Gozuki dumps another monster card, so he's not looking to use the Pyramid Turtle in this duel, especially since it's a level 4, and he uses his final space in his back row to actually activate the Underworld Cannon. Roman can only summon the Informer Spider and pass his turn with 1800 defense. While 18 normally isn't a huge amount of defense points to attempt to swing over, considering Hunter only has access to his level 3 or lower monsters, that will be a daunting task. We see Hunter tribute summon the Skull Flame, a monster who won't be able to attack for him, but whose effects will come in very, very handy. Roman's gonna respond with the Book of Eclipse to set both of his monsters and force Hunter to draw 2 cards, leaving him with a singular card in his deck. However, in order to avoid decking out in this duel, Skull Flame can use its ability to add the Burning Skull Head to the hand and skip the draw phase. Then, Skull Flame can special summon the Burning Skull Head, whose special summon will trigger both of the ever-living Underworld cannons to do 1600 points of damage, and the Burning Skull Head itself, on special summon, does 1000 points of damage to Roman for a grand total of 2600. So the second duel of this match goes to Hunter Pace. Round 3 between these duelists, the last duel was absolutely epic, and Hunter goes first yet again. His blood is boiling. He will activate the Graceful Charity, discarding the Glow Up Bloom and the Necroworld Banshee. Phenomenal cards to pitch, as they both will banish themselves immediately in order to activate their effects, to set the Zombie World field spell straight from the deck, and to summon the level 8 Skull Flame. Now we'll see ever-living Underworld Cannon activate twice, so we can see the same combo that ended the last duel kick off this one. A massive 2,600 points of damage on the very first turn of the game. Roman's going to be activating his own field spell, the Spider Web. Then, since only Hunter controls a monster on the field, the Dark Tuner Spider Cocoon can be special summoned, alongside the level 3 Ghost Sleeper, the Underworld Princess. The Underworld Princess will swing for 300 damage into the Burning Skull Head, switching itself into defense mode with the use of the Spider Web field spell so that Roman can avoid battle damage with the Skull Flame. However, it's the draw phase, so Skull Flame will go ahead and add the Burning Skull Head and repeat the process yet again for another 2600. Although Roman does have the Zero Gravity Trap card in order to minimize the damage he would take in the battle phase, that won't change the massive amounts of damage he's taking here in the main phase. Skull Flame will be switched into attack mode and will not attack, as to avoid the effect of the Spider Web. Roman's turn, he's going to be moving monsters into defense mode and summoning the Ghost Wyvern, the Underworld Dragon, who's going to fetch the Ghost Fusion spell card out of the deck. And Roman's going to activate it. Since his life points are lower than Hunter's, he can also use monsters in his deck and graveyard and hand for the fusion summon of the Dragon Necro Nether Soul Dragon with 3,000 attack points. When the Dragon Necro Nether Soul Dragon is on the field, monsters cannot be destroyed in a battle with it. And at the end of the damage step, if it battles another monster, the monster that it battled will have its attack points reduced to 0. And if it is still face up on the field after the fact, Roman can summon a Dark Soul token with the same level and attack as whoever the dragon battled. We're also going to be seeing the Ghost Sleeper activate its effect from the graveyard to fetch yet another copy of Ghost Fusion for later. The Necro Dragon's going to swing into the Skull Flame Dragon for a measly 400 points of damage. However, the real goal was to shrink the Skull Flame and summon a token to swing into the Skull Flame for 2,600 damage of his own. We're also going to see the Ghost Wyvern activate its effect during the end phase here, and Mad Mauler will be sent from the deck to the graveyard. Hunter can do nothing but set a card and pass his turn, as he has no monsters to work with. Mad Mauler is going to activate its effect to special summon itself from its graveyard and alter the level of Dark Soul token by 2 down to level 6. Then, Mad Mauler will tune the Ghost Wyvern Underworld Dragon for Doom Kaiser Dragon. Roman is going to disrespect Hunter Pace by using his own manga synchro against him. And the Doom Kaiser Dragon is gonna fetch the Skull Flame Dragon out of Hunter's graveyard. But that's not all, as we're gonna see the Ghost Sleeper Underworld Princess banish itself from the graveyard and discard Spider from hand in order to add back the Ghost Wyvern Dragon. But he's still not done, as he normal summons the Ghost Charon Underworld Boatman, a level 2 tuner, who he will tune the Drago Necro Nether Soul Dragon with in order to synchro summon the level 10 Dragosaitos Corrupted Nether Soul Dragon. Ghost Fusion will activate here, but it will be met with a Magic Drain. And as Roman doesn't have another spell card to discard, Ghost Fusion will be destroyed and negated. But that doesn't matter, as Hunter is met with 4,000 damage directly and is attacked by his own Skull Flame. This is game.